The optimal price can be computed with a formula if we know two things. We know marginal cost and the price elasticity of demand. The formula is marginal cost times the absolute value of elasticity divided by the difference between the absolute value of elasticity and 1. The notes have a proof. If marginal cost equals marginal revenue, that means that price equals that expression I just described. Let's do an example. Suppose that E is minus 2 and the marginal cost is 20. What's the optimal price? Well, we've got to take marginal cost. Let's say price will equal, the optimal price will equal marginal cost times absolute value of E, all that divided by the absolute value of E minus 1. Plug and chug. We've got $20 times 2 divided by 2 minus 1, which equals 40 over 1, which equals 40. Well, I'll just quit there. The optimal price is $40. We can also quickly show that the optimal margin is 1 over 2, or 50%. Notice when price is 40 and marginal cost is 20, the margin of price over marginal cost is 40 minus 20 divided by 40. 20 divided by 40 equals 0.5 equals 50%. So the optimal price of 40 makes the actual margin equal to the optimal margin of 50%. With this information in this formula, we can figure out when the optimal price will increase. The optimal price increases when consumers become less responsive to change in price and when marginal cost increases. Let's talk a little bit about when consumers become less responsive to changes in price. Consumers become less responsive to change in price as the availability of close substitutes decreases and as the extent to which the good is a complement for other goods increases. The lack of availability of close substitutes makes not buying the product more difficult for consumers who want what it provides. Being complementary to more goods and services makes not buying the firm's product more difficult for people who want to consume the other goods and services. The availability of close substitutes decreases as the definition of the product broadens. For example, Coca-Cola is a very narrowly defined product. Soft drinks is a more broad category of product. Coca-Cola is a subset of soft drinks. And beverages subsumes both of those. So as we move from Coca-Cola to soft drinks to beverages, the availability of close substitutes is getting lower and lower. This means that the price elasticity of Coca-Cola, the demand for Coca-Cola is going to be, people will be more price sensitive to Coca-Cola than to soft drinks than they are to beverages. Froeg's rule of thumb is that the brand price elasticity, a more broadly defined category, is approximately equal to the industry elasticity. I got it backwards. Froeg's rule of thumb is the brand price elasticity, that's the more narrowly defined product, is approximately equal to the industry price elasticity, the more broadly defined product, divided by the brand share. Availability of close substitutes also decreases as the firm's product becomes more distinct from its competitors. And advertising can play that up. Advertising that stresses the distinct nature of the product will tend to make consumers view the product more distinct from other products. As consumers become less responsive to changes in price, we say the demand becomes less elastic. Demand is less elastic when the absolute value of V is 3 than when the absolute value equals 4. It's less elastic when the absolute value is 0.3 than when absolute value is 0.4. Less elastic means the same thing as more elastic. And everything we've said about price increasing can be flipped around when we talk about price decreasing. The optimal price decreases when consumers become more responsive to changes in price and when marginal cost decreases. Consumers become more responsive when the availability of close substitutes increases and the extent to which the good is a complement to other goods decreases. A third characteristic is advertising. Advertising that stresses pricing usually attracts customers who are more sensitive to price. The availability of close substitutes decreases as the definition of the product narrows. Coca-Cola is more narrow than soft drinks, is more narrow than beverages. And finally, the availability tends to increase as the firm product becomes less distinct from its competitors. When consumers become more responsive to changes in price, we say the demand has become more elastic. More elastic means the same thing as less elastic. Finally, the analysis indicates that a change in fixed cost will not lead to a change in the optimal margin or price. Fixed cost does not appear in the optimal price formula. It doesn't appear in the optimal margin formula. Fixed costs are things you can't change, and if you can't change them, they should have no bearing on your current decisions. Worrying about fixed costs when you set price would be an example of the fixed cost fallacy.